It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Hello, model citizens. Welcome to Humanity Junction. My name is Heath, and tonight on Trains and Tech, we're going to be solving some problems that we discovered last week. So we'll get to that in a little bit. I'll refresh what the problems were that I discovered, talk a little bit about what problems I've already solved, and then we'll move on and solve another one of those problems tonight and see how far we can get at coming up with a solution. Just a little heads up, tonight there are not going to be any unboxings because I only have an hour. I am going to be a guest on the Second Section podcast along with some folks from the Twin Cities divisions. We're going to be discussing the state of the hobby. So after tonight's show, if you stay on this channel, when I hit the stop button, you'll automatically go over there, or if you're already subscribed, you can just go jump over there when they go live. So I do have a hard stop, 9 p.m., no unboxings, to make that happen. So yeah, it should be a fun conversation with those guys. It's always a good talk. It says I have 35 people watching, but there is only about a list of 11 of them in my participants list. So if you haven't commented in a little while, say hello. You'll pop up in the list, and I'll run through that. I'm trying to think if there's any other business that I need to get to. I did update the thank you video. We had some memberships gifted very generously, and the list of YouTube members for the next month has grown. Also, if you see over there, little thumbs up will pop up if you hit the thumbs up, so feel free to hit that as well. Let's say hello to a couple of people. Top of the list tonight, Mr. Anthony Dodge, the model train outsider, followed by Barry Olson. We've got BNC Systems short line in the house. Boxcar Jerry's here. Cameron from Caboose 121. Dave from Caroline Foothills Railroad. Dackman Sean, Mr. Productions himself in the house. We got Frank Steeler fan. Dwight from the Curly Express. Joey, also known as Loco Joe from Late Night Model Railroad, is here. Lynn McCurdy in the High Desert Modular Model Railroad Club. Dennis, Otter Creek, and Rio Grande. Rayron VR is joining us. Mr. Ice Dragon himself. We've got Robert Darby's here. Split Rock Thomas in the house. Steve Childers still awake at 8 o'clock at night. Steve, very impressed. The High Plain Drifters is here. Tom's Trains and Things coming at the top of the show. Very unusual for him. And last at the bottom of the list, Steve. 3Dub Wigwag Workshops in the house as well. Marky Saunders jumping in, and thank you so much to everyone who is dropping in, hanging out with us tonight. And you know, we'll see what happens. No unboxing. I mean, you know how long my unboxings take, and we just don't have time for that. Pete and Look in the house. Pete was over on Discord sharing some awesome pictures of his holiday setup around the tree. I hope everyone had a good holiday and that they are recovering from whatever holiday events they partook of and are getting ready for the new year as well. Tom, you did not get here too early. You actually got here on time, which for you is early. So thank you, Otter Creek and Rio Grande, for joining as a YouTube member, as an expert model citizen. Thanks for joining. Let's just jump right in. Let's share. You can see on that side, those are my sponsors, Iron Planet Hobbies, Mini Prints, PTF Designs, as well as a bunch of individual people that support the channel, and they've made this year possible and are going to make next year possible, and we're going to have some fun. We got good stuff going on, and I can't wait to solve a couple of these problems and move on to the next thing.
It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity. About humanity. It's all about humanity.
Even if you guys have checked out their sites, do keep checking out their sites. IPH is putting up a lot of new stuff. Mini Prints puts up new stuff every month. Nick over at PTF Designs, just ask him for what you want. He's always making new things as well. Barry's saying New Year's resolution, no unboxings longer than 15 minutes. I hope that's you making that New Year's resolution, Barry, because I am definitely not going to be making that New Year's resolution. Bernard from Mini Print saying, what did I miss? As usual, everything. You missed all the important stuff. That being said, frog juicers are a good thing. So the two big problems that I had during my first operation session that a bunch of you watched last week. I apologize. I got distracted by this. I see it. I don't know that I believe it. We love our pre-orders. We have a joke over on Discord. We have a BMT club, which stands for Buy More Trains, and Joey is our leader to some extent over there. So if Joey cuts down, I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know how we're gonna get through the year. But anyway, last week on the channel right here, I attempted to run some trains, and there were some issues. The two main issues were that I couldn't get the switchers to run over the frog juicers back here. And the second big problem was that I couldn't read the reporting marks on all the boxcars, especially in the yard, because the boxcars are right up against each other, so it's just not possible to see them. So the first problem I solved this past week, I installed 3 more frog juicers on the yard, got all of that wired up. I only really had one short. Took me a little while to find out what was causing the short. Still don't exactly know what was causing the short, but I found out by swapping 2 of the wires on one of the frog juicers, the short went away. I don't know why, but it did. Sparky, if you're asking if I got a haircut, the answer is no, but I cut my hair. So I didn't get one, but I gave myself one. And the only time I shave these days, the only time I do my hair these days is for you. When I come here on these live streams, I gotta make myself pretty, so this is the best you're gonna get, though. This is the prettiest that I get. The reason TB Minnow asks a great question, why a frog juicers and not a keep alives? The BLI locomotives that I was running fairly successfully don't have keep alives in them, but they do have a capacitor in them that will help a little bit. But the main reason is just that I'm running N scale. N scale keep alives aren't quite available and easy to install yet, or even possible to install, especially in the switchers. So the easier thing for me to do is install the frog juicers. And I'm a big fan of the frog juicers. I am not using, let me say this correctly, I am using some Pico Electrofrogs, but the majority of my turnouts are Pico Unifrogs. And the Unifrogs, if you don't power the frog, they're just dead frogs then, and that creates a problem for switchers, for short locomotives. So, and Dennis is correct. One frog juicer helps every loco, and that is essentially the solution. So I have total, right now, I have 6 frog juicers on the layout. There are 2 on the main line, and then there are 4 more doing the various sidings in the yard and stuff like that. The only area of my layout that doesn't have a frog juicer is the time saver over here. And the reason that doesn't have frog juicers is because that's the only part of the layout that's got turnout motors. And that part of the layout, I have the turnout motors controlling or feeding the frogs. So, yeah, I mean, if I could do frog juicers and keep alives, that would be great. So Thomas Grassi, what I am using to control the turnouts is this right here. It's a pretty high-tech device. I send information from my brain, usually travels down my arm. Sometimes it correctly travels down. It's not always perfect. It's not 100% accurate. It works maybe about 30% of the time, but it's what I have for now. Everything on the layout except for the time saver, the 6 turnouts on the time saver, this is my turnout motor. So sometimes this is my clicking button or clicking finger on my thumb, my trackball. So yes, sometimes it orders locomotives, but I'm trying to be good. Trying to be good. Lauren Hurwitz, my father, says, "Hi all, sorry for being it." I don't know what that means. I think he means sorry for being late. It happens sometimes. I like somebody who just said, "Oh, booger hook." I like that. So I had to I had to go back and call it out. And Tim seems to be having problems with his computer. And of course, I'm sure it's something I am doing wrong. Yep, late. Robert says 45 to go. I don't know what the 45 is. That likes or people not hitting the like button and then the little things not popping up? Or do you mean 40 turnout motors to go? So what is that? 6 times 6. Whatever that is, 36, not 45. So yeah, if I had a cat, I would absolutely blame a cat. Oh, 45 minutes to go until the second section. Are people just count? Am I just a placeholder tonight? Is that all I am? People were watching Dave Thurber over at Crooked River and Eastern, and now people are coming over here just because they're waiting until the next show is on. I'm terrible at multiplication. I'm terrible at math in my head. I was pretty good with math, like in general, but not good. So this is the pre-party. Great. Yeah. Just filling time. Just filling time. Just the middleman. I guess if I ask for it, that's I guess I deserve it because I asked for it. David, thank you. Welcome. Happy New Year to you as well. No New Year's resolutions. Maybe we'll talk about the new year, but for now we're just going to solve problems because I think that's the way to go. I don't know if that's a good thing or I don't know. So as people know, or people might not know, some people may know, I have some Great Northern Boxcars where I have added numbers to the top of them. The reason I added the numbers to the top of them is because I can't read the little numbers here through the camera. So these were for the time saver. When I built the time saver, is to put these on it so that when you're looking through the camera of the time saver, you could read the numbers on top. And I was just planning on doing these and not doing any more. But then, as people that saw and watched the video last week, you can see I couldn't read any of the numbers on the cars, even, being right here. So what the idea that I got was Split Rock sent me this article. And this is all about tab on car. I'm not gonna, if I can't read the numbers, I'm on the wrong scale. Time to switch the O scale. Yeah, no, we're not doing that yet. Thomas, are PL10 and PL15 the Pico motors? The solenoid Pico motors? That's not a resolution, but I may or may not be doing that, but we'll see. We'll see. So this is an article that Split Rock sent me, and it's all about using what's called tab on car or carb tab forwarding. And essentially what you're doing is you're putting a colored tab on top of the car that then tells you where to go. So like here, the cars are all mixed, and then here the cars are all sorted, and it just, there's not a really great photo of the little tab. You can kind of see the little colored tab here, sort of ish. Here it is here. So I decided what I am going to do. Containerman asked a good question. A barcode. I thought of putting barcodes on them. I thought of putting RFID readers in each of them. But the problem with both barcodes and RFID readers is then you need another device to read the car. And I didn't want to have to use another device. But I also don't want stickers on all of my cars because it kind of bothers me that almost all of the photos that I have of my railroad have these stickers on top of the cars. So here's the thought. Here's what's going to happen. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use, so people have seen, this is just styrene. This is from Plastruct. The stuff that I'm actually going to be using is evergreen, but this is an I-beam. So this has the, the flange part and the other part or whatever. So it's an I-beam. So the idea that I'm thinking of, and I've painted this, I've already painted this brown. So when you put it on a brown car, it'll look, it won't look terrible. So what's going to happen is this will just sit over the roof walk, just as Joey's pointing out. I will put the numbers inside this little railing. But then the second part of that is what I'm going to do is get, and I don't have it yet, but I'm going to get styrene strips that are various colors. So what I can do is I'll have the number and maybe the reporting marks as well. That's what we need to figure out tonight, is how to get the reporting marks and the number potentially on here without making a big, huge thing, and see whether I can see it or not. So we're going to get that on here. And then I'm going to make other little styrene pieces that'll be colors. So for example, let's say train 107, which will be my helix train. I don't have a helix, so it'll just be running to nowhere just because. Tall font like movie poster. Let's see which fonts I've got on this Brother P-Touch, but that's a good idea to use a tall font. Yeah, so, yeah. Derek says I might want to cut it down a little bit. So, yeah, so I'm going to determine how long I need to cut it down. The number will then go on here. Then I'll have other styrene pieces that are the colors. So when I'm building a car, I will be able to see the number on it, and then I'll take the color and put the color on it. So I knew if I brought up train 107, we'd get Sparky to come out. Oh, is this true? The real railroads are putting numbers on the roof too. I think it's helps locate hazmat loads and derailments. Very interesting. All of the New York City buses have numbers on the roof, and that's, for the police and whatnot to be able to find the buses. So that's interesting to hear that railroads are doing it as well. But yeah, so first things first is to get out the P-Touch. And this is a P-Touch that can hook up to the computer, but, Oh, there we go. All hazmat tank cars have numbers on top. They're on the top of tank cars. That's right. Forgot about that. Interesting. Been doing it here for almost 18 years. Mine are going to be removable because these are cars from the 1940s, 1936, 1940, I forget. So mine are going to be removable, and it'll be nice because then I can take pictures. I can just take them all off. And when I knock cars on the floor, everything will fall all over the place. They'll be hard to organize. So let's find, what we need to find first is a font. So let's see, how do I find the font? Function, font. Okay. So we got Helvetica, we got BRU, I don't know what that is. US, that looks like a tall, skinny font. So we'll try and remember that. Oh, that's true, Container Man. I forgot about the trucks doing it as well. Yep. Well, this room might be a hazmat load. Yeah, every load's a blue smoke. So US looks tall and skinny. LA is big and fat. Flow is big and fat. So that's not going to work. I didn't realize. Oh, we're back at the top. So Helvetica. So it looks like my two options would be LGO, which I don't know what LGO is, or US, this one. So I think I want to go with this one. Let's try LGO. Sounds good. So this doesn't have a circuits font. I can hook it up to the computer though, which I think would make it make me able to print anything out. Joey's asking anything monospace. I don't know how to know that. I guess it does say, let's see, size. So there's style, line, align, frame, symbol, length. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So I can, it looks like, font size. So it looks like I can set the width. Oh, here we go. There we go. So I can set the width to skinny. Railroad Gothic. Century Gothic requires the least ink. Use Roman numerals. I could do that. LGO as a sans serif font. I'm sort of stuck with what I got. But what's interesting is this one, length. Auto, 12 inches. So I can set a length on these and then just cut these all to a certain length. That is kind of interesting. Let's leave it on auto right now. Let's print. The other thing that I'm not sure about, I know. Anthony, thanks for stopping by. Hope everything goes well. I've got other size tapes here. So this one's a bigger one. This size tape, though, what I noticed is when it prints, and it prints the full height, that if I chop off the white, it'll pretty much cover the whole thing. So I think I'm going to end up trimming it down and try that. So let's try this one. So GN3486. So GN space 3486. 3486. So let's see what this looks like. I don't know how well this is going to come out. Get more tape. I'm probably going to need a lot more tape by the time this is done. So this is potentially the first one. What do we think? I guess I should cut it out and then we'll see. Let's do this. Everyone can watch me. I do have the Band-Aids handy still, thanks to Lynn. So we can go get the Band-Aids if we need them. But for now, we are just gonna cut this out. Uh-oh. It's slippery, this stuff. Come on. Come on. It's hard to cut when it's that small. I did put a new blade in, if anybody was wondering. There we go. Flange and web. Web being the space between the top and the bottom flanges. The I-beam is just going to sit on the car. So most of the Boxcars have a ridge to them, and some of mine have a thing, and it'll help. Oh, interesting that you say that. Stick it to the mat first. I do have a piece of glass that I could use as well to stick this to that would help me cut it out. And then I could stick it to the glass and then pull it up. The problem with these is they don't do a really great job. Once you kind of stick them, they don't do a great job of sticking again. So we're going down to that if we use this. So the question, I guess, people have, that ridge just got a roof walk. On this one, it's got a roof walk. On some of them, they don't have roof walks, which is why I said that. My locomotives, I've got the numbers on the bottom, which I know then you have to pick them up. But yeah, I have 4 Pennsylvania switchers that I cannot tell the difference between the 8s and the 6s. So So do we think that'll work? I think that will work, and I like how small it is. But what I want to do is my my pacemaker cars. Let me see if I can find. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What I'm looking for is, so some of my pacemaker cars have more. What am I trying to say? Have more numbers and letters and stuff. So let's just say New York City, 147. No, 174710. I believe that's one of the numbers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to print this out. I'm going to measure it, and then I think I'm going to go in and set the length to whatever this length comes out to be. And then I think that will then be my total length for this. Reduce the height a little bit to make it fit on one side of the roof. It's going to go on the center of this. It's going to go in here, like this. And then this is going to sit actually on the car. I just need to figure out what length to make this, which is what I am working on figuring out right now. And then we'll cut all of these. We'll cut all of these to the same length, and then we'll just put the numbers on as needed. So I'm going to print this out right now, and we'll use this as the maximum length of all of the labels. So let's see. That didn't cut quite like I wanted. You know what's probably going to be a better thing to use to cut these with? I have a pair of detail scissors. And I'm going to guess that these detail scissors are going to be much better to cut these with. I would do letter reporting marks and the car numbers. Yep, so like on a New York City pacemaker car, it would be NYC would be the reporting marks, and then 174710 are the thing. Are you going to make 2 for each? No, 1. Just 1 for on the car. Not 1 for the box. The label will travel with the car. It will not separate from the car. So when the car goes in the box, the label for the car will go in the box as well. So this, there we go. Here we go. Now, I guess the interesting part to this is going to be this is much longer, I think. Let's see. Oh no, that's going to be a good size. That's about the same length as what's there. Instead of cutting off the top and the bottom, cut only the bottom and then stick in your I-beam and then flamage trim is the excess. I could do that as well. New York Central. I keep doing that. I know. Sorry. Tim, nothing blowing up yet, and no blood yet. No blood yet. So let's see. If I put this in here, and oops, put this in here, and I do need to cut it a little bit shorter. It looks, or a little bit, yeah, top to bottom, a little bit smaller. So if I make all of these, I wonder if I can make them all 1 inch. Let's see what happens. 174710. What I want to see what happens is if I set the length to, looks like the smallest. Select another cut option or choose longer label length. So it looks like it will not let me do it won't let me reduce it smaller than what the allowable is, or what the length of what I'm printing is, which is kind of interesting. So I might as well just leave it on. I might as well just leave it then. Line style. I wonder what style is. Normal, bold, out, shed, italics, italics bold, italics outline, vertical, vertical bold, normal, normal. All right, so we're going with normal. So in that case, what we should probably do then is make these 1 1/4 inches. I can cut them all at 1 1/4 inches. They'll all then be the exact same length. This P-Touch allows multi-line labels as well. I can show you here. So if I go over to here, I can go back and hit enter. And so I can do this as a multi-line label as well. And I thought of doing that to make it smaller. The problem is that, let's just print one. Let's just take a look. The problem is that I think it's a little too small. So this would be the size of that versus that. So I think I want, and I know there's a little bit of glare, so even the glare is hard to read, but I think I'm okay with this. I think if it's, so this is a little over, no, this is about 1 inch right now. This is a 40-foot boxcar. So if it was 1 1/4 inches, it would go from that edge out to there. I think I'm okay with 1 1/4 inches. Multiple car numbers will save on tape, Heath. Yes, yeah. Once I get this all figured out, I'm just gonna go. Right now, I'm just sort of figuring it all out as well. Yeah, it looks like single line is better. Single line. Yeah, oh, David, that's funny. That's funny. I bought these are generic labels, things that I got, and I think what's in here right now is actually 0.47. So it's these 12 millimeter ones, and it does look like I'm going to need to buy a lot more of them. But I don't know what this brand is, but this brand's been fine, and it's been working. So what I might do is, I'm not sure, but I can buy black labels with white printing instead of white labels with black printing. But I think this is gonna work though. I think if we do, I guess the question is, do I do 1 1/8 inches or do I do 1 1/4 inches? I don't think I'll ever really need it to be longer than that. I don't think I have anything that is more, let's see, wait, DHNY, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 4 and 5, that's 4 and 5. So I don't think I'll ever really have more characters than that. I should just make it 1 1/4 inches, shouldn't I? Just make my life easier. I know. I think that there is only a certain printable area on the tape. So I have 9mm tape here, but if I use the 9mm tape, it doesn't print the full height of the 9mm. It only prints it a little bit. So I think, so I can maybe do the 12, or I can maybe do the 24. I've got a bunch of 24. I might be able to do the 24 with, and double line and do it like that. But yeah, I do need to, once I start doubling it up, we'll get there. More work, less talk. This is all about what I'm planning to do. It's not about getting it all done. Yeah, so max of 6 numbers, max of 4 letters. I haven't seen 5 letters except for like P and LE, but I was just going to do PLE. Oh, well, PNLE, I guess, is 4. Duh. All the ones I have so far, I think, are just Heath work. All right, so 1.25 inches. So I got my handy dandy little cutting tool right here. And I guess what I need to figure out how to do now is set a stop on this. Because if I set a stop, then I can make something repeatable. So the question though is, what should I do to set a stop? And what I want to find is something small that I could squeeze up against this edge that then this could hit up against each time. But what can I find that is small enough? And I think I've got something back here. If I can get it out. I just reorganized that drawer, and now I just made a mess out of the drawer. But here's a little piece of wood. Let's get 2 just to make sure I've got one big enough. So I've got this piece of wood, and what I think I'm going to do is we'll go to 1.25 inches where the blade goes to. I'll put this up against it, and then I will clamp it down. I learned all of my woodworking skills from watching Dennis from Otter Creek, so if I'm doing anything wrong, we'll blame Dennis from Otter Creek's woodworking skills. You know, now that I did this, I know, I'm changing my mind. I'm going with 1 1/8. If it sticks over the edge, it sticks over the edge, and I'll deal with that. But let's go with 1 1/8. All right, so there we go. So now if I put this in here, yep, my blade's gonna come just past it. And now I've got all of these to pre-cut. Why can't we watch? Oh, am I sorry. Let me just make this wider. There we go. So I put this block, put the clamp here. The clamp is holding the block, so this will get pushed up against it. And then I'll use my little handy dandy little Duhast thing. Let's see if I put that under there. I hopefully won't cut into anything. Boom. Number 1. I'm going to have to touch up these edges, obviously. Because when I painted these, obviously I couldn't paint the ends. But essentially this will go like this. And I know this is the wrong number for this car. I understand it, but let's just take this off. What? And they'll just sit like that on top. And my cut is not straight, and that's bothering me. My cut's on an angle. I'm gonna have to sand that. So we'll sand the ends and then we'll paint them. But that'll be the numbers. They'll then be removable. So now I've just got a whole bunch of work to do. I do have a first aid kit. Yes, I'm using the saw. So I looked into this, Marty. I was looking to spend about $300 for an intro RFID kit, and the thing I did it, Digger, it's not to make them more realistic. It's so that these old eyes can see them. So I'm sort of mimicking this number that I had stuck on these cars, but I'm gonna have it be on a little removable thing. I thought about going the RFID route. The reason I didn't end up going the RFID route is because then I would have needed to hold a reader, and read the car and do all that, whereas this way I can just see them. So do I think they're going to move when going across the tracks? Maybe a little bit, but like, I don't know. I mean, I think it would have to be pretty, I think it'd have to be a pretty devastating fall to get it off the, to get it to fall off. I don't see them falling off that easily. Yeah, so I have a first aid kit, and I think people know I've got the fire extinguisher by the door as well. So if I don't have roof walks, of course all the ones over there, of course all those have roof walks. So this guy, no roof walk, right? No roof walk. It'll just sit up there. You know, I don't have any inclines or anything, so I'm not too worried about it. I mean, so if I have a derailment, my longest trains are about 8 cars long, so this is actually an interesting idea. I could just put a little, I could put a magnet on like the bottom of this and have it stick to the cars as well, which is what I almost joined the Model Railroad Club of New Jersey or something. There's a Model Railroad Club in Union, New Jersey, and they do tab on car, and theirs are all magnets. So, and I have blue tack as well, which is an interesting idea. I could potentially use blue tack, but I don't see them being that big of an issue. I want to be able to take them off, right? When I take pictures, I want to be able to pull all of them off as well. So Container Man, if you missed it, what I'm going to do is I'll have another piece of styrene that'll be the colors. So for example, like if I came up to this car and this car had this number on it, and this car was for train 107 and train 107 was red, I would then put red red on top of that in a little small piece. One reason, yeah, well, right. So this also, one reason I'm not so sure about the magnet thing is what I'm worried about, especially in New York, is just collecting dust. I work in LED manufacturing, and LED displays, the way they hold the LEDs onto the cabinets is with magnets. And the magnets on the LED displays are neodymium magnets to hold them on nice and tight, but they collect the dust. The dust, there's magnetically charged particles in the dust that then stick to it. So if I put magnets on all of my cars, they're gonna attract dust. They won't add too much weight. Most of the cars that I own probably need weight added to them already. All right, so color codes for different trains. I haven't figured that out yet completely, but if we go into JMRI, sorry, one second, I'm loading it up. If we go into JMRI and we go to my list of trains, so what I will do is, so like this train here, right? This is the one we ran last time. If you remember, when I dropped it off at the yard, I had to pick up other cars to then bring back. So what I will do is I'll have just various colors that if I need to like pick up 8 cars in the yard, I will go through and mark all of those cars with a specific color. Then the switcher will sort all those cars, line them all up, and then when the locomotive comes to pick them up, the locomotive can just grab all of those cars. So the only maid that's coming in here is unfortunately me. So yeah, and I'm pretty confident this is going to work because of this here. Let's see if I go. I'm pretty confident this is all going to work because the I-beam idea is from this article, and you can see, like, this is what this guy does. So what he does is he's got his yard tracks, and they're, you know, he puts all the different colors on them, and then he sorts them all by the colors. And essentially, I'm going to do that. But there is no correct color for the I-beam. Or you mean paint them the correct color for the car? Or do you mean paint them the correct color for each train? So New York City 174710, at one point might be, let's say, on the red train, and on another point it might be on the blue train. So I need to be able to swap those colors while still keeping the same number on it. Yeah, so we were just talking about that. I don't think I'm going to add magnets. I don't think I'm going to need it. Exactly. All these are for is so that I don't have to be able to see the reporting mark on the side of the car. I'll just be able to see the tag on the top, and then I'll be able to mark it for whichever train. New York Central, New York Central. I know. I keep saying it wrong. I'm in New York City. I guess, I don't know. One day maybe I will say New York Central and remember to say it correctly every time. I highly doubt it. Oh, you'd paint the I-beam and match the color of the car. Yeah, I went with brown because most of the cars I have are brown. If I had the time, I could go and I can go and do that. Timothy, I'm not going to use I-beam. What I'm going to use is just a piece of flat stock. So the flat piece that I'm going to get will actually fit between the webbing of the I-beam to keep it in place. So it won't be I-beams for the colors. It will just be flat pieces. Do you pay attention to the order? It depends. If I'm going to drop cars off at various industries, then yes, I would stage them in certain orders. But yeah, so I haven't seen the little thing actually on this side over here pop up yet. That means nobody's hitting the thumbs up. Yeah, so I will be covering the number, but it won't matter because I can cover the number once it has a color on it. So the color just tells me where to take it to, right? So let's say the boxcars are in the yard, right? So I've got the boxcars in the yard over here, and I need to take 8 of them over to this industry over here. So I'll mark those 8 cars with a red piece of color. Then I will take that cut of cars, of 8 cars, over to this area, and then I can pull all the red colors off. And then I can put the next set of colors on it, depending on where it's going to go next. Adam says you should cut the I-beam slightly longer so the flat stock is before or after the reporting mark. So the flat side, I'm okay without that. I get what you're saying. Oh, that's an interesting idea. I like Timothy's idea. I could just get colored gel and cut colored gel. Timothy, I like where you're going with that. That's a good idea. Timothy, you're welcome around here any old time. Any old time. That's a good idea. I think I'm going to do that. So what Timothy is saying, and I don't unfortunately have any down here right now, but you can get just colored, like colored plastic. And I could put the colored plastic, cut it to fit inside, but just choose colors that you could still see through the numbers. So that was a brilliant, brilliant suggestion. And Timothy and or anybody else, if you want stickers, I've got some stickers, and I'm happy to send stickers out to people that want stickers. So if you want any, that'd be great. Yeah, like colored index tabs. So what I'm thinking of using is in theater. I'm an old school theater guy. In theater, you used to put colored gel in front of lights, and you can buy a 20-inch by 24-inch piece of gel for like $10, $9. So for $9, I can't begin to tell you how many of these. So Container Man's mentioning the green plexiglass. It's actually hanging up on the wall over here on the back of the door. I know you can't see it. Derek says, thinks everything. So magnets each, so I don't want magnets in the cars. I don't want to add magnets. So that whole idea is out because I don't want magnets on the cars. But yes, I got stickers and a pin already. Yes, you did. But we met at the train show. That's why you got a pin. The U.S. Navy's aircraft are Ouija boards. Yeah, exactly. Sometimes 4 brain cells. Yeah. Timothy, if that's your one good idea for the rest of 2022, I am glad you used it here. And I mean, the only thing left for me to do is, oh, that's the wrong one. The only thing left for me to do is I got to just keep cutting these because I need to, you know, I need about 60 of these is what I need. And I don't know if there's an easier way to cut these. I don't know if there's an easier way to cut these. If anyone's got an easier way, let me know. Yep. There you go. 14 pack of color correction gel, $14.99 on Amazon. 7 colors, and I probably won't ever need more than 7 colors. So, Heath, my point was just lay the things on top of the cars. That's what I'm doing. That's exactly what I'm doing. First aid. First aid. I haven't hurt myself yet. Uh-oh. Stack them. Yeah, I know. I've thought about just stacking them all up and cutting them all together. I don't know. I don't know how talented I am that I could do this without making a total mess. That I guess is the real question is how much of a mess this is going to make doing this, but let's see. Well, that's another little problem is they seem to be falling, and then I'm going to cut them with the, got to make sure they fall out of the way. This is where I need like a bandsaw. If I had a bandsaw, I could just do this quick. Oh, I didn't cut through that bottom one all the way. That might work. I can probably stack these all. For what these are, stacking these all will probably work pretty well and make it happen. So yeah, I've got some cutting to do, it looks like. Clamp them together. I could do that too. I'm left-handed. I know. Yeah, I got about 60 Boxcars. I ordered evergreen styrene from about 3 different places so that I could get them. Oh, interesting. Stand them up vertical. There you go. So if I cut them like this, then they won't fall down as I cut through them. There we go. We're getting good ideas here. Good ideas. When everybody contributes, we get good ideas, and that's what this hobby is all about. I do only have 2 minutes left. I am going to wrap it up and head out of here and head over to the second section. If one of the mods can post down in the bottom, I am going to be joining the second section crew in a couple moments. Hit the thumbs up on the way out. Get that little guy to pop up there on your way out, and hopefully, join us on the second section. It should be good. Should be fun. We're going to talk about the state of the hobby and see where we go from there. So thanks for being here. Thank you so much for a fantastic 2022. I really look forward to seeing everybody in 2023. We're going to have some more really fun projects, and from the city that never sleeps, farewell, model citizens.